I've done that before. I did it to a child once.
Yeah, you go.
The point is that the building behind is very important. It's a hall for graduation ceremonies, and I'll tell you much more about it. But the heads on plinths were done originally in the 17th century when the building was built. They've been redone. The last stonemason to do them decided to have a bit of a laugh, so that's why they've all got different expressions and different hairstyles. But the point is, the tradition goes back to ancient Greece and Rome, where you had boundary markers called terms and terms or terms from Hermes, essentially. They don't stand for anyone in particular. People like to call them the beards or the emperors or the philosophers, but they're nobody really. The sun's coming out, hurrah! We're just going to go down this sweet little street down here. It's got some nice kind of houses. I'm like,
No, it's a little hot now.
Hey!
who cares about it? As I say, built right into the city wall. So where we're standing here is just outside the original city wall, and in 10 minutes' time we'll just be the other side of this wall, and it's as far as it goes. But as you can see, it's called the Turf Tavern. It was where they did all gambling, turfing, horse racing, which they weren't allowed to gamble in the centre of town, so they had to be outside. And if you look here, one of your famous American roads presidents and Rhodes scholars were drank here. This is where he smoked and didn't inhale, according to that.
Sorry, thank you.
And I'll tell you a bit more about the college. Founded in 1379. So why is it called New College? It was founded originally full stop, by the bishop on the right, William of Wykeham, who was Bishop of Winchester. Winchester is about another hour and a half and a half from here. Long way to walk in those days. And he bought this land in order to build a college for his own priests from Winchester. He wanted it to be the College of St Mary's, the College of St Mary of Winchester in Oxford. There already was a St Mary's College here, so it became the new College of St Mary's, and then St Mary's was dropped. So that's why it's named New College. And that's why you've got the Virgin in the middle, Angel Gabriel on the left. And this is at the gatehouse. All these colleges have gatehouses with this fortified entrance, which works quite well in that it makes sure that we pay to go in, but in the early days it worked quite well in keeping the townspeople out. That's almost like a sort of fortified barricaded door. There's no way, if you wouldn't mind just having on people out, essentially. The head of the college, in this case, is called a warden. Each college has a head, sometimes a warden, president, principal, master, but in this case they're a warden. And he lives above the gatehouse, so that's his sitting room there and the works all around there. And the idea of that was to keep an eye on who was coming and going. Having said that, other colleges that later have president's lodgings or master's lodgings, but in this case this is still where the head of the college lives. Keep an eye on everything. And when we go in, I just got to ask you to be as quiet as possible and keep together, because it's exam term. A lot of people are feeling very stressed, and well, either way, it's a college. There's college rooms all around, people studying, and libraries, etc. So we have to be respectful of all these throws out. Other rule is you can't walk on the grass in the front quadrangle. It's one of those things. Is he almost on, do you think? Same idea, both here and Cambridge. You have Cambridge is the same idea, but you have courts instead of courts. It's the same square. So let's have a look in the dining hall. Manners maketh man.
Yeah.
See that? Have you heard Manners maketh man?
Yes.
It's, yes, Kingsman stole it. Colin Firth said it in Kingsman, but it's actually William of Wykeham's motto here and at Winchester College in sort of Old English, and that's the Order of the Garter, that's the crown. I mean, sorry, the Royal Order of the Garter above. So, having bought all this land, he had to look after the city wall. It couldn't knock it down, whereas the rest of town it's been knocked down. And it meant in the 19th century, when they added on a huge other part of the college, the other side of this wall, where there are many more student rooms and all sorts of, there's common rooms and a new library, etc. It had to still be divided by the wall. They couldn't knock the wall down so they could walk in and out. And this mound, which looks rather more exciting than it actually is a way of looking over the wall to the east to check if people were attacking from the east. They could get the sort of heads up and throw things at them first. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see over the wall. And it goes all the way around from, as I explained to you when we were in the Turf Tavern. That's why sort of one reason for doing a diversion. We were just outside the city wall, and then it runs all the way along there to the east gate. And then that's it. I mean, that wasn't it originally, but that's all that's left. And they still have this ceremony where the city wall has to be inspected every 3 years just to check. But actually, in the last, a month ago, they opened another building for postgraduates. So the thing that changes about this university is it grows on the postgraduates. One very obvious reason is that. How much? Probably one of the reasons that I abandoned it. I like talking about it as long as I don't have to. You can act it out, but I'm not. It belongs to Hertford College. Unlike the Bridge of Sighs in Venice, which is named after, although it doesn't quite look like. The Bridge of Sighs in Venice is so called because the prisoners are being led from the Doge's Palace, where the courts are. They're being led over the water to the dungeons the other side, across the bridge, and they sigh as they look out of the lagoon because that's their last view of daylight, essentially. Oh. Do you? Great. Oh, that's good to know. And is it going to the jail?
It does, yep.
Oh, that's much more exciting.
Architecture,
Oh, well, that's good to know. I didn't know that. This just goes to when they bought this land at the beginning of the 20th century. They made more student bedrooms, so it's a bridge to bed, essentially.
So go to sleep.
Nothing sinister. But that's good to know. There's one in Cambridge, but it doesn't go to the jails either.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Radcliffe Camera, and I wouldn't be doing Oxford duty in Oxford if I didn't show it to you. We're going to go actually not talk very much here because we've got other things to talk about just there. But this is part of the Bodleian Library now, which I'll tell you about. But the reason it's called the Radcliffe Camera comes from the Latin word for room or chamber, and Radcliffe because Dr. John Radcliffe, not Daniel Radcliffe, related presumably once upon a time, but Dr. John Radcliffe was a royal physician, and he left money in his will when he died at the beginning of the 18th century for a library to be built to house his medical books. And it was very unusual at that time to have a round library. And it is a beautiful library, I think. Beautiful building. It's my favourite building in Oxford, built by an architect called James Gibbs. He was an architect. We're going to see a building by Christopher Wren, who's much more famous, really. But James Gibbs had been to Rome, trained to be a priest, and came back an architect. Type of training. By the way, you see this building in a lot of films that have nothing to do with Oxford or the local news or whatever. Oh, did you see the worst film ever? Did you see one? If you'd watched it on the aeroplane, on the
Right?
yeah, the one with Timothy Chalamet. Anyway, right. So there's two bits of Wonka. I sat the whole way through Wonka in order because I remember they were filming here, and just when you look out this bit where they under the Bridge of Sighs, where they're driving along with these giraffes in a truck, and the giraffes. Has anyone seen it?
I saw it in the movie. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Do you remember when the giraffes go into the bridge?
Yes, because
Yeah.
they use milk.
Yeah. That's the Bridge of Sighs.
Okay.
And right at the end, right at the end, before the credits go up, the mother of the girl who's a librarian.
Oh, she runs up to my
She's
ear.
coming out of her.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so pleased you remember that. I've never seen the 5 orders all stacked up. So Tuscan, Doric, Ionic, Composite and Corinthian, all on a tower. So this, sorry, I was just so thrilled someone said the 5 orders of architecture. And most people aren't that interested in architecture, but the point was this was a nod to classicism. It's sort of rather shoved on the last part of this quadrangle to be built. But I need to go back in time a bit to the earlier part, which the oldest part of this whole area is through that door there, where it says Divinity School. So Divinity, or go and do that, they had to do the 7 liberal arts, so astronomy, rhetoric, music, etc. Do their BA, then their MA, then they could go on and become a Doctor of Divinity, but not just overnight. What they had to do was do an oral exam called a disputation, in Latin, of course, Latin was the language. So through that door is this incredible building called the Divinity School. If any of you want to go and see it in your time off, I'll show you at the end where you get tickets. You can go in, you can't go around the whole library because you have to go on a tour, but you can go there on your own. I'll talk a bit more about it. So the Divinity School was built for oral examinations, disputations. No exams were written. And as I said, if you do see any students wandering around later on this afternoon when they're coming out of it, the afternoon exams, in gowns, that's because they're doing their exams. But they do them all in the examination schools now. This is where they used to do them till the 1880s. Exams were all oral, paper was rare and expensive. You didn't want to waste it on students. So this amazing building was constructed, started in the 1420s, ran out of money by about 1440, and that's why there's carvings on the roof. If you do go, there's amazing carvings. Tells you all about it, from the initials of the benefactors that helped finish the building. First of England or the 6th of Scotland, careful, holding 2 books, with books that he, well, it's obviously allegorical, that's a figure of fame and that's a figure of the university. He gave them to the Bodleian Library. One was on witches. He was on a witch hunt, well, lots of people didn't like witches at the time, but more unusually, I think, the other was on the evils of tobacco, saying don't smoke, it's bad for your health. At the beginning of the 16th century, so that was, 17th century, it's pretty good. But mostly known for his commissioning the translation of the King James Bible. He needs the Greek and Hebrew students from Oxford and Cambridge, but without him it probably wouldn't happen. These incredible carvings which show all over Oxford. They're known as grotesques. They're not gargoyles. A gargoyle has functions of buildings. And they're carving, they were in newspapers, they're absolutely everywhere you go. And those are the newest ones up there. There's a competition for school children to do them. Secondly, more important really, is you see the crest up there, which reads, have any of you got any Latin? Up there reads, Dominus illuminatio mea, Lord is my light. That is the university crest. So this for the town, and that for the gown. So that is on the Divinity School. But just come this way a tiny bit more, just for 1 second. So students, when they are going to their degree ceremony, so just to say, even in the university, for degree ceremonies, students gather in that building and process through to this building, which we were standing the other side of earlier on. It's called the Sheldonian Theatre. We were looking at the heads from the other side, the curved side. So the reason it's called a theatre is it's based on the shape of a Roman amphitheatre from ancient Rome. Well, this isn't from ancient Rome. This was built in the 1660s. And it was, sorry, I think I'm ruining your photograph. It was the first major building by a man called Christopher Wren. Have you seen St Paul's Cathedral from a distance?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That was built by Christopher Wren, but when he was much more famous as an architect, this was his first major building, and it's still used for graduation ceremonies. So they process, the ceremonies are in Latin from beginning to end. When it was built, I'll just show you, Christopher Wren wanted it to be as much like a Roman theatre as possible.
It's all right. The feet are distracting from me, so it's fine.
We're going immediately to the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna bother with the again. Don't. No. Yeah. Third time. And I
Rachel, huh? It's good.
We're all just like, I got hit by a ball. Some sympathy.
That's not so rough.
Oh, with like shit.
Yeah, like, it's been good. So, keep rolling.